From masters capable of drawing a perfect line without a ruler to people whose hands move faster than machines, today you will see what a human being is capable of when work becomes art. The fastest hands of China, Li Chong. This guy is definitely in his element. To stack bottles into a basket so virtuously on the move, that takes effort. They say that at this factory, the workday lasts more than 10 hours. I can imagine how tired he gets from such energy-consuming work. For me, please, a small piece. How many people utter these cherished words in the hope of being understood by the chef? However, in Thailand, they will treat you with complete understanding, after which they will filigree slice a strip of the freshest meat thinner than a sheet of paper. Incredible. Careful, you can get mesmerized by this process. After working at the factory for several years, the girl has masterfully learned to sew gloves. I wonder how many she makes per day. What do you think? One shot, one precise hit. For us, that is something astonishing, because such accuracy is a sign of unbelievable professionalism. For them, it is routine, because the regular obtaining of food is a condition for the survival of their tribe. She cleans great, but is that really flour? And these guys have become real stars of the airport in Munich. While there is bustle around, passengers walking, restaurants and cafes operating, they simply do their job. One applies the solution, the other washes. Genius. How much time does it take you to peel one boiled egg? A minute? 2? This wonderful girl needs only 40 seconds. In fact, in that time, her caring hands handle a whole 100 boiled eggs. Can you imagine how skillfully she handles them? Sounds ambiguous, I know. Coca-Cola. In work that requires ultimate concentration, there is such a concept as an eye for measurement. Miss a millimeter, you ruin everything you worked toward for so long. But this Frenchman working in the fields has it completely in order. He built the trajectory of his lawnmower in his head in advance, after which, as if along invisible rails, he drew a geometric pattern that now adorns the grounds near a palace in the south of Marseille. One can only envy these guys' ingenuity. Why use a stepladder for work if there are stilts? With them, it is much more interesting to work, and surely more effective. While some countries use entire mobile digital complexes, this man draws by hand better than any robot. How he manages it is a mystery to me. But that he had a 5 in technical drawing at school, I, personally, have no doubt. Nowadays, there are various technological devices for a perfect lawn near the house. And only about 70 years ago, instead of a lawnmower, people used an ordinary scythe. Apparently, Grandma passed on her knowledge to this wonderful lady. Otherwise, how do you explain her masterful handling of this difficult tool? If only we had these workers on our roads. Look with what precision he forms the guardrail by the roadside. At first glance, everything is simple, yet I am sure he is a true master of his craft. Superheroes exist, and they live among us. In the era of glass skyscrapers, it is extremely important to keep their facades in pristine condition. Only Spider-Man or a professional window washer can handle this difficult task, working at an enormous height where gusts of wind can reach 40 meters per second, performing his job without fear or reproach. To break a stone, you need not only to apply effort, but also to show ingenuity. The success of this work depends on how the stakes are driven. A true professional is working in this video, so it is no surprise that he needed only a couple of minutes to cope with this huge boulder. Congratulations! Now you know how your goods are packed before being shipped from China. And this is probably the most dangerous job in the world. I cannot imagine what it is like to be surrounded by angry, buzzing, flying creatures that are eager to sting you. If that suddenly happens, you need to urgently consult a specialist. But if not, a reward awaits you. On average, $100 for collecting honey from one tree. High technologies, robotics, artificial intelligence have already replaced humans in many fields. However, a true master they will never replace. This girl single-handedly creates three-dimensional models of people, preserving everything, from proportions to the tiniest details. Her sculptures adorn the best museums of the world, and she rightfully bears the title Queen of Liquid Glass. They say you can identify a chef by how he cuts onions. Looking at this pair, it is immediately clear that we are facing masters who do not even need a knife for their work. Sleight of hand and no trickery. That phrase fits this video perfectly. Comments are superfluous here. Nowadays, you can go to any hardware store and buy wallpaper, but in poor places, they make it by hand. This man creates a real masterpiece with his own hands. He has no right to make a mistake, because if it turns out smudged, the work goes down the drain and everything will have to be redone. Ask for less, work more. That was the motto of the guy who, right before the eyes of astonished colleagues, developed a non-standard method of boosting his productivity. How many people are needed to build a house? At least two, so that one supplies the materials and the other handles their installation. However, in Canada, they know for sure that this job can be done alone. After all, if you lift a load by yourself at arm's length, then an assistant is not needed, and you pay half as much. Brilliant. One of the most difficult techniques in the craft is applying an image to porcelain products by immersing them in a special liquid with paint. You need to calculate the time and depth of immersion perfectly so that the image is fixed. If it does not work, the item goes to the trash, because the concept of defect simply does not exist in Japanese culture. Korean hairdressers have learned to create real figures on the head out of hair. For this, they need only 4 components: a hairdryer, hairspray, a comb, and a model who agrees to such an experiment with her appearance. If you have ever operated heavy construction machinery, you know how difficult it is. The situation becomes even more critical if you have fallen somewhere in it, for example into a steep ravine. And while a trainee will panic, a seasoned master will handle the situation, proving to everyone that the impossible is possible. You have surely heard of a synchronized swimming team, but you probably did not know about synchronized builders representing the Team of Africa. A jet of water supplied under pressure works wonders. You will see this now when you watch how it removes scale and dirt from an old boat. After such procedures, it looks like brand new. Do you agree? What should you do if you are painting walls and do not have the necessary tool at hand? Use a putty knife. True, for this you must wield it flawlessly, because one awkward move and the wall will have to be repainted completely. Many are afraid to renovate an apartment. They say there will be lots of debris and dust. However, looking at how deftly he demolishes the ceramic tile, the word renovation does not sound so scary. Guys, would you like a wife like this? Imagine you come home and she greets you from work with several bottles of beer just carefully opened by her hands. Should a diver be able to handle a welding machine? Yes, if he is working on creating a huge oil platform in the Pacific Ocean. The fate of a multi-million-dollar project and the lives of hundreds of people extracting oil amid the endless sea expanse depend on how he welds the parts together. Wheels are made of rubber and a clay. Not a bad alternative, especially if there are no handy materials. It is good when a warehouse has a forklift, and if it does not, then hands, ingenuity, and an incredible sense of balance come to the rescue. Fast, cheap, and cheerful. That is roughly how one can describe the work of these gardeners. You can condemn them, but why? After all, such an interesting method really brings the desired result. Anyone who has ever worked with molten glass understands how difficult it is. Our hero is a true pro at this. Just look at how he handles it. Many masters spend hours to give molten glass the required shape, and here it is exactly 10 seconds. Incredible. In some Asian countries, Western books are under sanctions. Rather, you can read them, but the titles must not be visible on the shelves. What to do? Cover them. This effective method is widely popular in China, where girls do it practically with their eyes closed. It is no secret that waiters carry dozens of kilograms of various food and drinks in their hands during a day. With such work, not only the hands get tired, but also the legs. In Korea, they found a way out of this difficult situation by speeding up food service exactly 2 times. This method, first, allows the dish to be served to the table as quickly as possible, and second, attracts new visitors who are ready to watch the work of waiters on a hoverboard. Is the tea too hot? No problem. An original serving method has been invented especially for you. The main thing is that your hand does not tremble, because you would not want the tea party to end in the burn unit of a city hospital. Cleaning alone is good, but together, even better. Especially when such a cool 4-legged friend helps you. When you buy cars for several $1,000,000, you want everything in them to be perfect. You nitpick at every millimeter, even at how your steering wheel looks. This guy restores leather items. Sports cars are his main workplace, where there is no right to make a mistake. Just look at how the old steering wheel is transformed before your eyes. Fantastic. Have you seen how bartenders impressively pour alcoholic drinks into several glasses at once? Such performances always make a splash. True, they are far from this guy, who proved to everyone with his performance who is #1 in the bar industry. Bet you did not know how colored porcelain tableware is made. Have you seen how air conditioners are replaced in skyscrapers? No, and that is a pity. After all, they are dismantled from facades by the bravest people who are not afraid even of the most incredible heights. New technologies in art are astonishing. When contacts are closed on a moist wooden surface, a controlled electric discharge is formed, which in the skilled hands of an artist can replace a brush. The ship is about to set off on its maiden voyage, and the painting is not finished yet. What to do? No problem. In China, there are true craftsmen who will come up with and paint a real masterpiece exactly 5 minutes before the ship goes out into the open sea. The most nerve-wracking job in the world is working at height. Installers earn thousands of dollars, but the price of a mistake is too high. You must completely trust your partner. Otherwise, a quick end can come to both of you. Those who have worked in a garden at least once must understand how hard this work is. But that is why he is a master, to perform it practically with his eyes closed. Any work can be turned into art, even if you work at a poultry factory. Why do you need to go to the gym? Surely so that the skills you gain will be useful in everyday life as well, just like for this Asian girl. No, she is not ruining a new wall with dirt. This is decorative putty, performed using a unique technology. Just look at how this fragile girl handles construction tools. Fantastic. Girls are ready to pay millions for this. This is the process of collecting royal jelly, which is used in cosmetology and the production of rejuvenating products. Now you have seen everything. What can be made from an ordinary piece of wood? Nothing special, all right. See for yourself. An amazing method of painting with branches was invented in Asia. You need to hit the sheet of paper precisely without letting the paint flow on it. Otherwise, not only the future painting is ruined, but also the mood. What is she doing? You might think that a homunculus is a joke. In fact, this is how decorative interior objects are made from epoxy resin, which requires a high level of professionalism. One hand is good, but many are better. That is exactly what they decided at a Chinese factory producing coatings. Instead of robots, ordinary people work there who spend almost all their time together, working day after day on creating masterpieces. There is no such thing as waste-free production. Even in an ordinary carpentry workshop, after work there remain wood shavings, which with proper preparation can be sold profitably. And here is that rare case when comments are simply superfluous. Watch his work and admire. A true master. That's it. Which masters do you remember more? Write in the comments and watch our previous incredible releases.